Hi, welcome back. We are glad that we have an additional guest joining us today, Nazrin Hassan, who is the CEO of Credo Fund Sdn Bhd. It's basically a fund under the MOF, Ministry of Finance, and he manages 100 million ringgit, which basically help to do funding. Welcome, Nazrin. Perhaps you can share with the audience a bit more about your fund and how successful it has been.
Okay, Cradle investment program was started in 2003 to fund ideas which can be converted into commercializable prototypes or proof of concepts. So far, we have funded about 364 ideas since 2003, and our commercialization rate is about 45%, which is, I believe, the highest within the grants in the country.
When you say commercialization rates, meaning really gone into markets, the products?
Yes, they have actually gone into the markets because when entrepreneurs come to us to fund their technology ideas, it's usually just a concept in their heads, you know. And what we do is we provide the funding to develop the prototype, to develop their business case, to provide them the commercialization support and mentoring necessary, and thereafter to ensure that they actually go to market. You know, unlike most grants, we don't just stop at funding. We actually want to ensure that there's economic returns for the monies provided by the government.
I see. That's what Andrew was saying just now. The market access, commercialization, very, very important.
Very, very important.
But what do you think, both of you think really what it takes? I mean, like what are the 2, 3 key secret form or trait or characteristic to make it successful?
I think traits is one thing. Currently, we have a funding gap within the ecosystem. At the seed level, there's very few funding agencies that provides commercialization funding. Right. That's hopefully a constraint that will be eased soon once Cradle comes up with its commercialization funding.
Right.
Hopefully somewhere within this year. Second is, I think, about the quality of the entrepreneurs themselves. You know, a lot of the entrepreneurs in Malaysia look at things from a zero-sum basis when it comes to money. They say, if I have money, I can do it. I can do anything if I have money. But actually, it is all the other qualities involved, as in the experience of running the business itself, the knowledge, the know-how, the mentoring that you need if you don't know how to run a business. These are essential qualities in raising the next round of funding. These are essential qualities in accessing more customers. These are the qualities that we should imbue in our entrepreneurs in order to make them more sustainable and successful.
Andrew, do you agree with that? Or?
I totally agree because we came from the same industry. Yeah. I think I have to add what Nazrin has said also is that you cannot think of money as to achieve the means. You know, sometimes you have to be innovative and creative enough to go and look for the market. You see, there are some companies that have done quite well, you know, with limited funding, but yet able to commercialize their product. One of them is actually your parttime.com. They have done that, you know, with limited funding. Okay, so you must understand who you want to partner, who are your friends, okay, who you can leverage on, so that or who you can collaborate with to ensure that you have that kind of commercialization platform, even with limited funding. Of course, funding from grants, from investment is good, you know, but you cannot be that mindset that you need the money all the time. Right. You know, otherwise, you'll be asking for money all the time, and that will become a vicious cycle.
But Malaysian government, as you say, our Prime Minister Najib just announced, we want to move from a middle-income society to a high-income society, you know, higher value added, and focus on high growth area. What do you think? Has the government done enough? What else can they do?
I think the thrust to move to a higher income economy started way back. You know, even we could consider that Multimedia Super Corridor was one of the first initiatives to step towards that direction. But we have to bear in mind that there are 2 things that has to be considered here. One is that, you know, moving to a higher value chain economy involves an ecosystem, be it in manufacturing, be it in services, be it in technology. It involves an ecosystem. It's not one of those things where you can do alone, you know. So in order to elevate the state of the economy, you would have to elevate the state of the ecosystem as well. That means everyone partnering together in order to create value in those companies. That's the first one. You know, and the second one is about education levels. You cannot move to a higher value chain economy if most or a substantial bulk of your workforce is still not tertiary educated, for instance, or given education beyond tertiary. It may not be university, it can be vocational education, things like that. So there is a need to uplift the level of education as well when we're talking about going to a higher value chain. We take a look at countries like Japan, Korea, Taiwan. Korea makes a habit out of collecting PhDs, for instance. Almost everyone in Korea uses an American PhD as a status symbol. So having postgraduate degrees, for instance, is not something strange over there. Whereas over here, we still lack people with technical degrees. We still lack people with postgraduate degrees. And I think that is a constraint that we have to overcome.
Andrew?
Well, I think he basically summed up everything already. But again, I think what we also need to have is innovation and creativity.
But are you happy? I mean, both of you been involved in funding, helping people entrepreneurs. I mean, over the last 3-4 years, you funded 300 over projects. You help, you attend lots of people. But are you happy with what you've seen in terms of progress, or you prefer that there's a lot more can be done?
Depends on how you look at it. If you benchmark ourselves against Silicon Valley, you would be unhappy, because over there they have a developed ecosystem where even inexperienced entrepreneurs, like the Google founders, can go all the way and build up a giant world-class company. If you compare to Silicon Valley, you'll be unhappy. If you compare to the region, you're talking about Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries, you would realize that Malaysia is leading the way, at least as far as funding is concerned, at least as far as ecosystem is concerned. We're showing our neighbors how to do things, where we're coming together at a much faster pace than our neighboring countries.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it today, it's quite interesting what you say, because Andrew had started by telling us that the government has a lot of support all the way through to the entrepreneurs, and you are summing up to me by telling me that actually, relative to Asian region, we actually have made a very good progress. I think not many people know that you have funded 300 over project, 40% commercialization rates. I think Malaysia does have the quality to be able to propel in this area. The question is, how do we move like a good ecosystem, everyone move together in the same direction. Right. I guess with that, thank you very much, both of you. Nazrin Hassan from Cradle Fund Centre Berhad, and Andrew Wong of MIRC, MCA ICT Resource Centre. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.